You're with the Breaker-Leggers, and we're in London's West End at the Duke of York's Theatre
to see a new production of The Glass Menagerie.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs,
whether it's break a leg
or leg it. So, what do we know about this piece?
Classic American play written by Tennessee Williams. Tennessee's most famous play is A Streetcar Named Desire, which had a production here in London in 2015 starring Gillian Anderson and was a sensation.
The Glass Menagerie is Williams' breakthrough piece. It premiered in Chicago in 1944 and transferred to Broadway in 1945.
The play tells the story of a family living in St. Louis in the 1930s.
This actual production opened on Broadway in 2013 and was nominated for 7 Tony Awards.
Cherry Jones is reprising her role as Amanda here in London. You may recognise Cherry from playing President Taylor in the TV series 24, amongst other credits.
Also reprising from Broadway is Brian J. Smith, who I know as Will from the Netflix original series Sense8.
Tiffany directs. John was actually nominated for Best Director twice at this year's Olivier Awards, once for
The Glass Menagerie
and once for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And he won!
For Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Nevertheless, we've heard some great things about this, so we're going to head inside to see if we agree.
We'll catch you at the interval.
So we've come to the interval of the Glass Menagerie, which means it is time for the Break-a-Leggers 30-second interval breakdown. So it's about a mother who is trying to find a suitor for her daughter, although she's quite an overbearing mother, so we'll see how it plays out.
Some lovely touches of lighting. I'm particularly impressed with that. The language itself seems quite poetic. There's lots of ebbs and flows. Some nice dancey movement, choreography as well. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's quite choreographic. Some contemporary dance, subtle dance moves in there. Lovely use of music. I'm not quite sure who the composer is. I'm sure we'll see shortly.
Slow burn actually happens. Bye.
So we've come to the end of the Glass Menagerie. How did you find that?
Generally enjoyable. It smacks of Tennessee Williams' style. I could see a lot of Streetcar Named Desire in the writing. The writing was very poetic. It was nicely delivered by all the cast, really. Cherry Jones has specifically garnered a huge amount of praise for her portrayal as Amanda. For me, it was what I would expect of an actress of her stature and what I felt the piece deserved with regards to a strong female that Tennessee can write for being delivered as Tennessee would have expected. How about you? What did you like?
I don't know the production, so this production was done in a very contemporary style. I would like to see other productions of it. That will probably amplify how different this production is in comparison to that. So I think that would probably bring a bit more magic and probably will explain why this revival has kind of stood out as much as it has.
I would definitely like to see it done in a more intimate setting. I felt like it would have been a real buzz to have those actors delivering the lines up close and personal, maybe in the round in a very small space. I would have definitely enjoyed seeing that. Being far back in the stalls as we were, that maybe a little bit was falling just short of where we were sat. Also, this production has had a huge amount of praise for its set, but unfortunately when you're sat in the stalls, a lot of what I was reading about the set does well, you can't see.
Why is that? What is the so good about this set?
There is a pool of water at the front of the stage, which a lot of light and characters are reflected in at various times, but sat on the same level of it, there's absolutely nothing you get from that at all. If you do come and see the show, definitely recommend sitting in the circle or even higher. The cheap seats for this one are probably better than the premium stalls.
Performances, I thought, across the board, there's 4 of them in it. They were really quite strong, both from the males and the females. I was really drawn in. There was a lot of energy being driven between each other. The males I found quite flamboyant, don't know if there's kind of going off piste here. Was there kind of a gay undertext?
Like an effeminateness.
Yeah, an effeminateness. I almost thought at one point that was something that was being played upon, and whether that would be discovered in the writing. It was kind of there and wasn't there.
I had read that the character of Tom was slightly autobiographical for Tennessee Williams, so maybe delving further into Tennessee's life might unveil a whole other level to it.
We shall see. More research to be done.
So, I bet you're wondering how many legs we'd like to give this piece.
So for the Glass Menagerie at the Duke of York Theatre, we are going to give three legs.
3 legs. Worth a look. Nice performances. Definitely made me more interested in seeing other Tennessee Williams' work. If he writes that well for female characters, I'd like to see that in some other pieces that he's done, to see if that's a trend that carries throughout. Not a waste of an evening.
I think if you already know the Glass Menagerie, it would be nice to see it in a different minimalistic style with a new contemporary touch, done with contemporary movement in places, strong performances, and a lovely soundtrack as well.
We're the Breaker Leggers. Don't forget to like, subscribe and follow us on Twitter. We will be giving you reviews soon of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead from the Old Vic, so stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll catch you again soon. Bye!